Hey, and welcome back to the When Words Fail, Music Speaks podcast. I'm Amanda Jolin, along with James Cox, and we are joined today by Mark Farner. He is a legendary American rock musician, best known as the frontman and guitarist for Grand Funk Railroad. With his powerful voice, energetic guitar playing, and soulful songwriting, he helped propel the band to international fame in the late 60s and 70s. With hits like We Are an American Band, Some Kind of Wonderful, and I'm Your Captain, closer to home. Beyond his work with Grand Funk, Mark has continued a successful solo career, sharing his passion for rock and blues with audiences worldwide. Known for his dedication to music and his authentic, heartfelt performances, he remains a beloved figure in classic rock, embodying the spirit of American music and the power of rock and roll. Mark, I'm so excited that you are here with us and that you were willing to wait because I was running late. So I appreciate you. And I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, no worries, Amanda. We're just glad to be sucking air and glad to be here to talk about everything that people will listen to.
Hey, brother, that's all there is, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
We treat them so many different ways. One of them will have to be right.
That's right. Before we get going, I do love your background, sir. You have a lot of guitars and drums, and I just love the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, it's not digital, James. This is real.
Yes,
I hope so.
I love real guitars. Yeah, because a lot of people do like green screens, background. So I understand that. But I'm so glad. Okay, so let me ask you this: which one of those? Okay, so which one is your favorite guitar? And because I know you play with your that one, nice.
That's the Messenger. That is the guitar that everybody thought they named it everything. They guessed it was this and that. It ain't nothing but a Messenger. It's got aluminum neck. It is a semi-hollow body. And when I plugged it into my West amplifiers and turned it up, it would squeal and holler and make all this noise. So I stuffed it full of foam rubber and I put masking tape over the F holes. And then I said, well, that kind of messes it up. So I'm going to kind of Frankenstein this thing. I sprayed it with some glow in the dark paint and I put little things on there. And so, I put a lot of time sliding across a lot of stages with that thing in front of me.
There you go. So is that guitar like a home slate guitar now? Because of all your videos I watched of you last week, because I'm a big fan of your work. I see you playing your red. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a red guitar. Is that your?
My Parker Fly. That's Baby.
Okay.
And now I'm on stage these days. I got a Parker Fly and Pariah pickups from Canada. Hand wound me some pickups for Betty. Now Betty, I named her Betty because our guitars, as guys, we got to have women.
Yes. Yeah.
And my mom, her name was Betty, and she got me guitar lessons. She got 6 guitar lessons and rented an acoustic guitar for my 15th birthday, and she's the one who got me into playing. Who was to know that 5 years later we'd be in Atlanta, Georgia, playing to 185,000 people and having a million-selling record that year.
Hey man, because it's either the guitars or the cars that we named the girls' names, and we love them.
Yeah.
Okay, my car's name is Betty.
Really? Aww.
Yes, she's black, and so when I drove her off the lot, the first song I listened to was as I'm driving off the lot, because they do, like, your cars, your guitars, like all those things have a personality.
It's our baby.
I don't care what. Yes, I get it. They're inanimate objects, but they do. They have a personality.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, I think that they change the way that you feel when you're driving or holding that guitar.
Yeah.
Like there's some sort of power, I guess, is the word maybe I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Personality. It becomes part of your expression.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Exactly.
So Mark, I do want to thank you because I feel more connected to you than any other musician that I've interviewed because my dad is a retired colonel, and I
Uh,
understand that your father served in World War II. Is that correct?
that's right. He was a
All
tank
right,
driver, Seventh
tank
Army.
driver. Yes, yes. So
And yeah, and my partner, Michael, who's in the other room, he's retired Army, 24
Awesome.
years service. So I'm proud of him for that.
yeah. So,
So,
but your dad received 4 Bronze Stars, correct?
That's right. Four major,
Nice. Oh,
and a lot of tank drivers didn't get to see the second one.
yeah, I know.
Our tanks were inferior, of course, to the Panzers that the Germans had.
Yeah, yeah. With that said, can you share any particular stories he told you that have impacted your life and music? And how do you think your father's experience in the military shaped your values and approach both music and life?
Well, my dad was after he got out of the military, he was a fireman for the city of Flint at Station 4, and he was a hunter. He him and a fellow fireman um, died when I was 9 years old, but I had those years with him up until I was 9, where he influenced me. And I remember hearing him talking to my Uncle Woody, and I'm behind them guys. I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I would always follow him out through the orchard and out through the fields. And I was waiting for that pheasant, ringneck pheasant, to get up there, and one of them boys was going to shoot that pheasant out of the air. I loved seeing that and being part of it. But I remember my dad saying, they're talking back and forth, and my dad said to him, Woody, if you want to know where the trouble starts in this world, trace the money trail to the top. And I'm going to tell you something, James. That has stayed with me all of my life. I'm 76 years old, and I can still hear those words. I can still hear my father's voice revealing to me at that point. I didn't have a grip on it because I didn't know anything about money. But son, I know all about it now, and I know all about the illusion that we all operate in, and it's just part of what drives me is I have a voice. I can make records. I can speak love to people. I can speak truth to people through my records, and nobody's going to control it except me. And I serve God. I am I'm a cussing Christian. Let's just put it that way. I'm a
same.
practical Christian.
You speaking to the choir when you talk to Amanda here.
I have a hard time not cursing sometimes, but
Yes.
it's just, they say that people that use a lot of swear words have a higher IQ,
Smart as life, yeah.
smarter.
Okay, good.
So there we go.
We're all smart.
I'm
Well,
with you.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just, I have to admit something. We were on our way home, and to this, and I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to some music so I can like get in the right mindset. And I was reading the lyrics along the way. And for the last 45 years of my life, I thought it was we're an American man, like MAN, and not
Ah,
band. And I was so confused why it was we are a man.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed that that is what I thought for years, but they will tell you I don't ever know the lyrics or the songs or
Yeah.
that's
I mean I'll sing along.
That's
I'm
what she always
embarrassed
says
though
every
that
single
is
episode. Yeah, we love her to death. She's great. Yeah.
we don't
but,
think no less of you, Amanda.
No, no,
well
you heard it here, Yeah.
it makes it more fun when you're a little bit off.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit off.
We all are, right? Yeah.
I mean,
But okay, so your mother was the first female welder to work on tanks in World War II, just with your dad, correct?
That's right. She was at Fisher Body in Flint, Michigan, first woman in the United States to weld on Sherman tanks. There was a picture of her, in the Flint Journal. She's standing up on a Sherman tank.
Yeah.
She's got her helmet tipped back. she's got her striker in the right hand and she's got her fist clenched, like, we can
Yeah.
do this.
Come
And
on. Right. Yeah.
the big, beautiful smile that my mother had, God rest her soul,
Yeah.
uh, that was part of my influence of doing what I do right now. The love that I received, it was genuine, and I try to emulate that in my music.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess her legacy inspired you in that way, correct? Yeah.
Man, that's really amazing that she was a trailblazer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe is a good way to put
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so are you with your music, and got that
It's
from her.
in the blood. Yeah, that's right. And you better not mess with her kids. You know,
Right.
you,
Man, nobody with messing
Oh,
with the mama bear, right?
that's right. Mama Bear is it. And we had that confidence when we was growing up that, and I think every kid would prosper from that kind of knowledge, from knowing that no matter, even if they was wrong in what they was doing, their mom was going to be behind them and back them up. She'd straighten you out later, maybe with a little buggy whip.
That's right. Yeah.
um, so she clearly supported you and like
Yes.
pushed you to be the best version of yourself.
Amen.
And I know that you've done most of the writing of the songs of Grand Funk. Is that
Yeah, over
so?
90%.
Yeah.
So now that you're experienced, lived a little more, how does your writing process look now versus when you were writing in your 20s, 30s?
Well, it's it's remained the same. It's just a matter of whether you're on a tractor and hearing that drone of that motor, because I would be out cutting hay or running some machinery, and I'm on the tractor going around in circles in the field, and I'm get inspired to write, and I'd stop and I'd run into the barn and I'd write down that first verse, and I go back out and get on, and I'm running the machinery, and I come back around and here's verse two, and I get off and run in right verse two. Uh, I was inspired by tones that were around me, and I don't listen to the radio. I used to listen to the radio when I was real young. I mean, 15, 16, uh, listen to the AM radio in the cars. But I don't listen to radio. I have not listened to radio for, you know, 30 years, 40 years. I want to keep my channels open for the new songs. I want to keep my creativity unhampered. But I'm gonna tell you something. If I'm at a gas station and I pump my gas and I go in to get something and they're playing the music, whatever that song is, it is stuck in my brain. And there it is playing over and over. I cannot reach up. I can't turn the channel. I can't switch it off. It just, so I'm very critical about, my wife, God bless her, she knows that I don't do that, and so
Yeah.
she's doing something else going down the road. If we got a 4 hour trip in the car, she's got her computer, she's doing something constructive, making some beads, she's Native American, she's Chippewa, and she does some things, for the families, always making something for somebody. And so we don't entertain ourselves with music, but I keep my channels open. And I was just writing a song this morning. I've been having these chords in my mind, and I started playing them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's sounding like, oh, it's gonna be a song. Yeah, this is gonna be a song. And all of a sudden I'm hearing voices, I'm hearing the background, I'm hearing the chorus. I start writing this down, and oh man, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
And you guys, listen, if I didn't think every song that I was writing, if I didn't think it was a smash hit, I wouldn't continue. In my mind, they're all
Yeah.
smash hits. That's what's inspiring about being a songwriter. they don't, I mean, of course they're not all hits. I mean, some are just, they get played and people like them, but some get played more on the radio and they turn into smash hits. But in my mind, they're all smash hits.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are your like? I know you just said you don't listen to the radio very often anymore, but who is your like number one band that you listen to right now when it comes on? You're like, I have to listen to this. Does any major band stick out, or do they all just, you know?
I don't, yeah, I don't even, I know people have sent me videos. Uh, this guy, this guitar player, Marcus King, who did one of my songs, Sin's a Good Man's Brother. He did a nice job on it. Somebody sent me a YouTube link and I started watching it and it was good. He did a really good job on it and he can sing and he can play and it wasn't, exact copy of mine, but it was a compliment and that's the way it should be. But you know, there's a lot of people that did that song, and I did not realize until I went to that link that somebody sent to me, a friend sent it to me. Listen to this guy play your song, and then I see all these other people that did it. I mean, I was there an hour and a half listening to all of these different people do "Sin's a Good Man's Brother." I didn't even realize it until that link, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That it's people like it enough to do a version of it. It's a compliment.
I think we love covers here,
We
and I
do.
love that when the song, and also like the other artist makes it theirs. Like it's not a
Yeah,
photocopy. It's not that exact
yeah,
match. They give
exactly.
some of their own
Yeah,
special. And you've performed and been on stages with some of like the greats out there, like
yeah,
um and I think that too a lot of your songs become like anthems for
Yeah.
people. Like they're those songs that people go back to that speak to them
yeah.
in lots of ways.
The dance songs, like Some Kind of Wonderful and
Yes.
Locomotion. When we get to those songs in the set, because I'm always going to do the hits. I'll do the new stuff, but I'm gonna always do the hits because people love to hear the hits and they love to go back in their mind to when they were dancing to that stuff, you know, 30, 40 years ago. And it's a wonderful thing to see a whole room of people or a whole field of people, if depends on if you're outside or inside, uh, just dancing, just moving to the music that you are up on that stage creating. Pinch me, man. I'm telling you what, I have been so blessed to live this life.
Yeah. Um, before we had you on, I reached out to all my followers on Instagram and TikTok or whatever, and I asked them to ask you some questions, and I got one for you if you don't mind.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's
we
do it,
we
buddy.
we interviewed Mr. David Ruff this past month, but he wants to know. He says, yes, I've always wanted to know the genesis of the song, the story behind the lyrics of "I'm Your Captain." He says, I remember listening to it as a kid, one of the songs that sticks in his mind.
Yeah.
He says, I play American Band and Some Kind of Wonderful all the time, but I was always intrigued by I'm Your Captain. So could you enlighten us of the genesis behind that wonderful song?
Thank you. Yes. I prayed for that song, James. I pray every night. I
Yes.
pray every day. I pray all the time. I just pray whenever it strikes me. Instant in prayer, instant in season, and instant out of season. When the mood hits, go head on. So that's what I did. And I'm praying, and I put a PS on the end of my prayer, and I said, God, would you please give me a song that would reach and touch the hearts of those you want to get to? That's what I prayed for. And I hope people realize, musicians, that if you have faith to pray, that you pray believing in the words that you're saying, and watch the miracles. Because I think it was a little miracle that happened when I got up in the middle of the night and wrote that song. I just sat up on the edge of my bed. I didn't get out of bed. I sat up, and I had a bed that was, the mattress was on the floor, and I had four poles and these drapes and stuff that was hanging all over it. Kind of, uh, it was uh, a hippie bed.
Oh no.
you know. So I sat up, and I wasn't completely conscious when I wrote it. I I wasn't like fully awake. I was somewhere between the state of subconscious and conscious. And I called it like between heaven and earth. And I start writing the words, and it's crazy to me. As I'm writing them, I'm thinking, why am I writing this like this? But I knew better than to go back to the top of the song. Like most of the time, whenever I've written a song, I'll go back and read the first verse, and it'll send me into the second. I'll read the first and second verse, it'll send me into a bridge or a chorus. It's just, rereading, and writing as you go. And
Right.
that's most of the songwriters that I have written with. This is the process that we all follow,
Right.
reading it. But I knew better than to go back to the top and start reading, because I would have lost my place in the spirit. I would have lost those words that were supposed to be there next. And I did not realize at the time that I was writing it that was even a song. I had forgotten about the prayer that I prayed. Because I set up a lot of times and write stuff that's just stuff, just writings.
Right.
Uh, some of it doesn't even rhyme. It's just, I got to get it out of my head and get it on the paper. So, anyways, I didn't know until the following morning when I got out of bed and I went up into the kitchen, and I'm sitting there with a cup of coffee looking at the horses out in the pasture. And I look over, and I got a George Washburn American made acoustic guitar sit there in a stand, and I grab it and I start playing the first opening lick, and I'm your
Yeah.
captain. And I said, wow, that sounds pretty cool. And then I hit this C chord, an inversion of the C chord that I had never hit before. But there it was. And I'm looking at it. And as I'm listening and enjoying the harmonics that are coming from the string, and that just that version or the fingering of that chord, my mind went, those words, those go get those words. And I went, oh, oh, oh. So I go running.
Paper. Where's paper? Yeah. Yeah.
I get that paper that I wrote them words down on, and I put it down on the table, and I start playing the chords to "I'm Your Captain" and hitting that C chord in there that I never hit before. But and I recorded it with my cassette recorder that was on the table. I always record, and to this day, when I'm playing, when I'm practicing, when I get up, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't plug my electric guitar in, so therefore it's not, real loud. It's just,
Right.
I can play it without waking anybody in the house up.
Which is
But
always great. Yeah.
always have something to capture, you know, a recording device to capture because I come up with new stuff all the time. Uh, I'm 76 years old, brother. I'm still getting new stuff.
There you go, man.
So that's how it happened. And, I took it to rehearsal, and we worked on it and worked it up, and the rest is history. It touched a lot of hearts, and touched the hearts that God wanted to get to.
Yeah.
And
There was
are-
no video to that song.
Okay.
So, so it's whatever the imagination of the listener was getting, whatever pictures
yeah.
were running in their mind, that's what it was. And even I was talking to a jock from New York City, WNAW. He told me that they ask 100 people to give their definition of Simon and Garfunkel's song "Bridge Over Troubled Water,"
Yeah.
and that they got 100 diversely different definitions. Not any two were even close. He says it's wild. 100 way different definitions. I said that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what our imagination is there for. We need to exercise it more. We got lazy when they started putting these videos out to music videos. It's one way, it's what that video says, and that's the way it is. That has stifled music to me, in my humble
Video
opinion.
killed the radio star.
There it is.
That's
Video killed sorry, I random lyrics pop into my head
Random, but yeah.
far more often than I would like to admit. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what song they came from or who wrote them, but I will sing them to you poorly.
Yeah.
It's fun. And so what I heard though is with that, just trust your gut, like go with it. Don't overthink and enjoy it. And then you can go back and make tweaks, but like in the moment, just be there. And you said that all of your songs that you write are hits in your, for you.
Yes,
And
Amanda.
So you've got all those songs that everyone knows, but what's like the song that you're the most proud of that maybe the average listener wouldn't even have heard of before? Or that you wish had gotten more attention because it was so powerful for you?
Well, there's a song on my new album.
Yes.
This is my new album. It's red vinyl album,
Ooh.
33 and a third. There's a song on here called Tiny Fingers. And it has become, it's just a keyboard player, my friend Paul Ojibwe, Native American brother, and myself, him playing keyboards, me playing acoustic guitar, me singing. And I'm proud of it because I finally recorded it. But because every time I would try to record it in the past, you guys, I would just break down in tears. I could not sing the damn thing because it just, I couldn't spit it out. I would just get so emotional trying to sing it. But finally, I got it out. And, I lost, Lisa and we lost our Jesse in 2018, our youngest boy. And Paul Ojibwe, my friend who played keyboard, he lost his young daughter, and so we had something in common in the spirit, and it came through in the grooves of this song, and I'm very proud of it. I think people can, no matter who you are, you'll be able to relate to this song, Tiny Fingers.
That's awesome. Because I was listening into your new album, Closer to Home, and Anymore, that song Anymore is a perfect opener. It's so great. I love it. I love that song, and I love The Prisoner. So I mean, you got some bangers going on. Yeah.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. There's a lot of love in that Anymore. That's a song
Yes.
about forgiveness, as you know.
Yes. Powerful song.
Yeah, this world can use a lot more forgiveness.
Amen to that, brother. I hear you. Yeah.
Yes, we can. And so growing up, I remember, you're going to laugh at this, but just bear with me. I remember being in the cafeteria line, and this kid, Zach Williams, I had the biggest crush on him, but he was so excited because The Simpsons became a real show. It was no longer a skit or like a short version. Right?
Yeah.
It was a full 30-minute, show. And it's been on, I think it's one of the longest running shows
Yeah. Ever.
on TV.
Yeah.
But, Bart Simpson, not Bart Simpson, sorry, Homer Simpson,
Oh
you were
yeah.
his, like, Grand Funk's favorite band.
Yeah. Man,
Because
I'm proud.
the wild shirtless lyrics of Mark Farner, which is
Yeah,
it's, I mean, I feel like, is that when you made it, when you like show up in The Simpsons? I mean, you made it well before that, but
Yeah.
like you're part of a different kind of pop culture.
Yeah.
When,
The first time I heard that, Amanda, the first time I never knew it because I don't watch TV either. I don't have an antenna. I just kind of say off here on the farm. But we were doing Pine Knob Music Theater. It's an amphitheater down by Detroit. And that skit or that bit um,
Mhm.
ran on the big screen, and I'm standing behind it. And I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm looking up there, and they go, "It's Bart Simpson." What? And I watched this whole thing play out, and I'm listening to him and the bong rattling bass of Mel Shocker and the competent drumming of Don Brewer. It's like, and the audience is going, yeah, because they all know about this. The sim,
Yes.
yeah. So
And
it was,
I
I made it,
I have well, and I know you said you don't listen to music and all that in the car, but I do
Uh-huh.
with my children. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, that's like I feel like I have those conversations with my kids sometimes. Like, no, this is an amazing band. Like I have failed you as a parent. But
Right.
I will say I have the best video of my son dancing, and it's to the Grateful Dead, but he called well, not anymore. He's 15 now, but he called them the Dead People. So he couldn't get the Grateful Dead. He didn't get that right, but he just called them the Dead
But you
People.
knew
And
what he was saying. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
of course I knew exactly what
Of
he was
course. Right.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
so my kids like the Dead People, which I don't know how I feel about that now. But yeah,
Right.
I think that there's something too that helps us connect generations
Yeah,
with that like solid music that's
absolutely,
been there
Amanda.
forever.
Yeah,
It's and
here,
kind of like you said, I think music is a whole different language that we can speak.
yeah,
It crosses generations and genders and locations and
yeah.
all of that. And so,
And
you know,
and
that
I wanted to mention, since you said that there's Betty right there. That's my current guitar. That's Betty, that blue
Yeah.
Parker.
Mhm.
But this entire album, all of these songs were recorded in the old school, uh, the time standard. Or it was the key of um, 432. It was the tuning standard for the United States for years and years. Count backwards from 432. That is a natural frequency. In 1953, Rockefeller changed it to 440 hertz. And just
Wow.
let me explain to you about what that means. Uh, 432 is compatible with everything that's natural, everything that's God made, everything that man has not messed with. 440 interferes with things such as water. And since our bodies are like 80–90% water, let me give you a word picture here. This guy had a kiddie pool on his deck. He put a 15-inch speaker enclosure next to it, had a tone generator, and in the scale 440, he played A2 at 125 decibels, and the threshold of pain is 90 decibels. So you can imagine this is some loud music coming out of here. Just a tone, A tone. And it's got that water just jumping up and down like it had legs on it. It was a storm in the pool, froth and waves, and it was just bam, bam, bam. And then he switches it to 432, hits the same note at 125 decibels, the sound pressure level, same identical sound pressure level, and it's like a piece of glass. The,
Mm.
the frequency went into that, it became part of that. And so the music on my new album is going to become a part of the listener. It is not going to bang into your water and cause a storm.
And that's what we
You
don't
know,
need, right? Yeah. Yeah.
you said that 432, and then you talked about hertz. And I was like, I had to look really quick. When I am meditating, relaxing, there is like just a sort of almost like a white noise,
Yeah,
but it's set 432 hertz. And that is what I listened to. And I was like, that sounds familiar. And now I know science behind it, which makes it even cooler
even
as to
more.
why it helps
Yeah.
me relax and like be,
Yeah.
more present in a moment. That is really a spectacular bit of information. And now it helps me to understand why that tone.
Yeah.
Well, that works. Yeah. Mark, I know we're a little bit over our time, and I'm so very sorry, but do we have enough time for 2 more questions?
Sure. Let's go.
All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, these 2 next questions are going to be the hardest we've asked tonight for you.
All right.
All right. So Mount Rushmore, there are 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore. What are your top 4 bands or artists of all time?
Jimi Hendrix for guitar player.
That's perfect.
Jeff Beck. You know, I saw him when he was with the Yardbirds. They was in Flint, Michigan. He stood that Telecaster on its edge on the stage, and he had that amp turned up all the way, the guitar turned up all the way, and he's going like this. He's going, like he's the one making the noise, and it was just going, and it was screaming and hollering and crying out, and it was a show. He was a showman. He showed us something, and we was 18 years old when we seen Jeff Beck. So I have to put him in there.
Yes.
Because and we got to stand on the side of the stage and watch him. But those guys got right in the limousine and left right after the show. And so we went up to their dressing room, and you guys, there was this funny smell in there. There was
Oh, yeah, I guess we got you.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. So we got 2.
so for singers, let's go with Howard Tate. Howard Tate is my #1 singer of all time. He influenced me more than anybody else. I loved, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway, Karen Carpenter. I love, the tones of these different people's voices, but I loved the way Howard Tate, he put his whole heart into what he was doing.
Hmm.
Between him and I got to say Aretha Franklin, because she's,
Yes.
so expressive. And when she did Chain of Fools, and I heard that on the album, you guys, I kept picking that needle up and going back to the start. And when it would finish, I'd take that needle up.
Over and over. Yeah. Yeah, that's such a great meet. Yeah. Aretha Franklin's one of a kind, dude. I mean, she's, yeah.
Yeah. She's, all it like just her energy, her voice, her,
Yeah,
there's
everything
just
about her.
something magical about her.
Yeah.
And then this question we always ask, which I think is hard, is there's like that one song or one album that just speaks to you. It's that one that you always kind of go back to no matter what, because it just fills your soul in a way that you can't express. What is that like album or song that just
Uh, you, you have to, um, my wife and I, we'll push a coffee table out the way in the living room, and we'll cut a rug sometimes, we'll just start dancing.
Hell yeah, man.
And we'll be sweating. I mean, we'll be dancing so much, we'll be sweating and loving. But then we put on what is his name? The guitar player, lineman of the county, Glenn. What is it? Oh man, I can't even remember. See, that's what happens. You turn 76, you can't
Oh
remember.
no. Oh, you're all good, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I am the lineman for the county.
Glenn Campbell?
Glenn Campbell. And
Thank
I
you.
roads. Yeah, man. The orchestra, the strings and all the stuff that's behind that is like, oh my God, that's such a wonderful song. And that's
So
the song, Amanda. That's
it.
fun, honey. That's it.
That's it.
I love that. And I love that it's one that you share with your wife and that
Yes.
it sounds like that. Well, the other day I was talking about how important it is to like move and dance and all of that. And I think that sometimes it's fun just to, we usually have a kitchen dance party at my house, but it's why we're cooking dinner. But it's the same idea of just music bringing us together and loving
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
music without our words. We get to let the music speak. And I totally did not mean to do that.
I would
When words
Yeah.
fail, music speaks. That
No,
wasn't my,
right. Yeah.
just totally.
that's what
Um,
it's for. That's what it's for. Absolutely.
I think there's so many of us that just there's those songs that they say what we can't say ourselves for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and thank you for giving us some of those songs with your gifts and talent and your words. We are so grateful
Absolutely.
for that
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
for you spending time with us and being patient as I was running a few minutes behind.
Well,
I've so enjoyed this.
One more thing, Mark. So Mark and I were talking before we got on, Amanda, and I want to give him the floor today because Mark, if you want to, you can. You've had scammers pretend as you, and I know you are very
Yeah.
adamant about calling them out. So if you want to take the time.
I appreciate it, James. Yes, I will. Brothers and sisters, there are some scammers out there. Oh man, there's scammers all over the place. But when they steal your logo and they pretend to be you and they're after your personal information, I mean, be careful what you're doing. And the only thing you should be, subscribing to is Mark Farner's American Band on Facebook and Instagram and X, Mark Farner's American Band. Anything else is like Mark Farner fans that they use my logo and it looks like and they
Looks
say
like you, right? Yeah.
boy, and then they put on some smut and you can't believe this
My
shit.
God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I call them, scum sucking pig dogs because
I
they
love that.
they are really messing with people's, trust.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah.
People trust me, and then they think they're helping me, or they think they're doing something with me, but they're being led by a scammer. So be very careful. Be smart, and don't fart unless it's directly in their face.
There. Yes. We love you for that. Yes. All right.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
Um,
So,
we appreciate it.
yeah, so everybody visit markfarner.com and order his album, his new album, Closer to Home, in red vinyl. Make sure you pick up the red vinyl as opposed to the black one. And then he is on Facebook at Mark Farner's American Band, Instagram, Mark Farner's _ American Band. And if it's not those, it's a scammer. So be aware, please. Yeah.
That's right, brother.
Mark, we do love you. And we
Thank
do want you to come back any time of the week, day, month, year, whatever you want to. Whenever you come back, you're always welcome. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you so much for being here.
Thank you so
And
much.
always
Yeah.
remember when
No
words fail.
Don't worry about being late. Late is just, it's a popular thing to do.
There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
And with that said, always remember when words fail.
Music speaks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.